Family, what's good? Welcome to another episode of Road Lamb Live. Today is a special episode because we're going to be talking about, primarily, we're going to be talking about Scarlet Ranger, the upcoming Kickstarter that's launching on Friday, March the 7th. Yes, sir, got that #1 issue. I got my man Wally McNair with me, kicking it. How you feeling, Wally? You good, bro?
Alive and breathing, you know.
For sure, for sure. I thought I was gonna be in here by myself today, but then Wally hit me like, "Yo, if you need somebody to roll with you," I said, "Hey, you already know what time it is."
Yeah, we go get it done.
For sure, for sure. So like I said, we're gonna be talking about Scarlet Ranger. We're gonna be talking about the upcoming Kickstarter. Cousin, thank you for tuning in, Sasha. Appreciate you. But before we do that, I gotta start with my favorite question. Wally, what's inspiring you right now?
Right now, bro. Right now, same old family and all that's always a part of it. But bro, being honest, giving flowers what they do, watching you go from initial ideas and concepts to heading towards issue 3 and having a solid team together, pushing and striving, coming out of for everybody else coming out of nowhere, it's always a journey to get to where you are, and now being a force within the creative community, bro. Like it's pretty dope and inspirational to see. So
Man, appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm here because of y'all. I'm here because of you. You know what I'm saying? The OGs, the people who came before me. Y'all set the example. Y'all paved the way, and I'm just following in the footsteps, man. So
hey, we're gonna accept them flowers, but we're gonna slide them right back though. You here because you decided to be here.
for sure, we could all have flowers. We could all have flowers.
For sure, for sure.
Um, for me, I've been having a lot of conversations. There's a lot of things shifting in my personal life right now. Been having a lot of conversations and just really reflecting on myself and reflecting on some of the choices I made, some of the decisions that I made. And I think that's been inspiring me, just looking at what I would call mistakes or missteps, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's been inspiring me to say, okay, this is how we're gonna get better. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how these are the changes we're gonna make to truly become a man of honor. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so I don't know. I spent some time writing my code of honor the other day.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I've ever really done before. I never really, codified it, like wrote it down and like looked at it and read it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I did that, and then I put together like some affirmations that's sort of based off of that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know. That's been heavy on my mind the last couple of days, and just really, as things continue to shift and move around me, just really focusing on those things and trying to embodying those things. You know what I'm saying? In
Right.
every area of life.
Right.
So that's what's been on my mind. Also, on a lighter note, I found this place called. So I go to this coffee shop. It's a local coffee shop called Portrait. So I asked them. I said, "Hey, do y'all got any like lemonade, like juice type smoothies?" And she said, "Oh, you got to go to Wadada for that." I said, "Wadada? What's Wadada?" She said, "Oh, it's right down the street." Now, I've lived in Atlanta since I was 8 years old. I ain't never heard of no Wadada. I'm like, "What is Wadada?"
I hope with daughter black on, but go ahead.
It did seem to be. I mean, it's in this strip. It's like near, if you from Atlanta, like the West End. It's like the West End Mall. It's the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I walk in here and it was just, they got the oils, they got the sea moss gel, they got the, So I go up and I'm like, oh, I order a smoothie. It was like a pineapple. It had pineapple, apple, banana, agave. And then you could add your whatever herbs you want, right? So you could put the sea moss in there, put the moringa in there, put the ashwagandha in there. And so it was just a really cool vibe. And I don't know how long it's been there, but I'm like, it's crazy how you can live somewhere for so long and then find something. It's like, oh, it's like a whole new world over here. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That part.
So that was a really good find today. That and the smoothie was she gave me a little sample. I tasted.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because you never know what it's gonna be like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said, yo, I'm coming back here for sure. So that was a light in my day. You know what I mean?
Next time I'm in the A, we're gonna have to drop by there.
For sure. Okay. Anything else you want to add to what's inspiring you? How you feeling? What you thinking?
Nah, man, just ready for us to hit the ground and do what we say we're gonna do, and we've been doing it, but to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. We on our way. It's just a matter of time. Of time. Okay, cool. So with that being said, March 7th, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the March 7th. We are launching the third issue, or we're launching a Kickstarter for the third issue of Scarlet Ranger. So right now, if you can see this, can you see that on the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is the pre-launch page. So we got 70 people signed up for this right now. And basically what this is, when you hit this, it says notify me on launch. When you hit that, it tells you exactly when we launch. So when we launch, you get an email and you know exactly when the Kickstarter is live and ready to go. So I'm gonna put the link when I come back over here. I'm gonna put the link so you guys know where that's at. It's also in the description of the video as well. But yeah, we're about to launch this third issue on March 7th, and I'm excited about this issue. You know, I think well, let me ask you, Wally. Let me ask you. You mentioned the journey.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the hardest part of going from the initial idea to actually manifesting or getting it or bringing it to reality?
Man, I think it'd be better if I reverse that and ask you.
Okay.
What you think that hardest part is?
Yeah. So I think let me come back to the show for this one.
Yeah.
I really thought you were just gonna answer it. I was just gonna, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's about you. We got to get
good.
yeah.
I think so when I first started doing Scarlet Ranger, it was 2019, maybe 2020.
I think it was well, I think when I found out I think it was before COVID, right? Right.
So it was before COVID. So I did the Kickstarter, I think it was 2021.
Yeah.
But I started working on Kickstarter in I think it was 2019.
I think yeah, like early in the year before.
But even before I connected with y'all, I had started working on it.
Yeah.
And I had built a team. Like I had an editor, I had an artist. We was moving. You know what I'm saying?
You was doing it the right way.
Yeah. I had like 10 pages drawn. Like we was moving. And my team fell apart.
That's right. Apart. Yeah.
And there was like a couple of months. It was probably like 2 or 3 months where I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do this. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. And then I just remember thinking, nah, we got to do this. Like, I done put too much time into this. This is what I want to do with my life. We got to do it.
Did you have a character? Did you have what all did you have at that time? You had the editor. You had wrote how much of the story?
Yeah, so I had the editor. I wrote the entire first issue. We hired an artist. She drew like the first like 10 pages. And so that's what we had. We had the 10 pages, and we had when the script was done, we had everything. You know what I'm saying? We just needed, the artist to finish the work.
Right.
And she didn't finish the work. And then, me and the editor had a little falling out. And it was like, okay, we can't move forward. We're not gonna move forward with this.
Right.
And I was just like, I was defeated, honestly. Like, I don't even think I'm gonna be able to do this.
Right.
And then I don't know what it was, but I was like, something triggered me to be like, nah, you got to keep going. You got to get this out. You got to do this. And I met Coy Carry-On, who did the first issue. I met him on Twitter. Okay. And I was like, bro, let's just do like a little short, like a 10 pager. And so we did something completely different, like a 10-page joint, black and white.
Right.
And then after that, I was like, bro, I got this idea. I've been working on it. It's a superhero joint. Let's do it. And so we did it.
Right.
And that's when I did the Kickstarter in that 2021. So going from that 2019 to 2021, there was a whole journey. That one right there. Yep. It was a whole journey to get to that. And so I think the hardest part of bringing an idea into reality is figuring out how to get up once you've been knocked down, right? Because when things are moving smoothly, it's like, yeah, like, oh yeah, we moving, we doing it. But sometimes if you get knocked down, you can take that as like a signal or like a sign of like, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. When really, that's just part of the game. That's just how it goes sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to figure out, am I going to get back up or am I just going to put it on the shelf? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so for me, I think that's the hardest part, I think.
Well, I mean, that kind of plays into some of the themes that you deal with in certain ways with Scarlet Ranger, right?
It does. It
does.
You
know, I mean, what's Dion out here trying to do? What's his whole motivation out here?
Well, at the end of the day, he's just trying to make his grandfather proud. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. But in all seriousness, this really is, and that's crazy too, because I think as a writer, you don't always know, at least for myself, I don't always know what things mean until later, right? So I could write something, I'm like, oh, this is what it means. I could think I know what it means,
right?
But I don't really know until later. And so I'll never forget when I got pages of Scarlet Ranger #1, and it's they're in a cemetery, him and his dad, they're in a cemetery, and we didn't have the letters on it yet.
Yeah,
and I got the pages, and I said, oh, this joint right here. I'm like, this is what the story is about. And what it's about is fathers and sons, right? It's about the relationships that you build with your dad or with your grandfather, right? But also it's like you want to make them proud, but you also want to be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Find your own path. Yeah.
Find your own path, right? And so it's like, how do I blaze my trail and be my own man, but at the same time honor the traditions and the legacy that's been left for me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think with Dion, he gets knocked down a lot. It's in these first 2 issues because he's really trying to be something that he's not. He's trying to be like his grandfather. He's trying to fight. He's trying to do what he did, but he's not really built like that. And it's okay. It's okay that you're not built like that, but you got to know how you built in order to do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But you can only find that out by going through certain things.
You can only find that out by going through certain things. Exactly. And I think that's what I'm so excited about issue 3, because I think if you read issues 1 and issue 2, you can sort of see him going through these things, and you can see him, wrestling with what does it mean for me to, one, be a hero? What does it mean for me to protect, this legacy? You know what I'm saying? And also this legacy that my own dad didn't even want, right? So if you know the story, right, it's like, look, he inherited this title from his grandfather. So why didn't his dad pick up the name, right? And so I think issue 3 brings some maybe some clarity to that. You know what I'm saying? Some the word is not finality, but it brings it brings an understanding, I think, for the father and for the son, some understanding between each other. To understand, okay, yeah, like, yes, this is the legacy. And I understand, like, from the father's perspective, I understand there's certain things I don't want you to do with this, but I understand I got to let you grow into who you are.
Right.
And I got to let you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So kind of have no choice to a certain degree, but.
And that's real. Yeah. That's real. Because if you don't do what you got to do, then, you know what I'm saying? It's yeah.
I think there's also a cool parallel of the perseverance and the continuous push of you as a creator, but also the elevation of the book as it continued to move along as well, to where I think, and this ain't the height of where it's going, but I think this is a new level with your creative team. It just feels like everything that you went through in the beginning, just getting the first 2 books done, were all to prepare you for this other level of where you are now with this third book. And I think it all shows from what I've seen of the art, the story. And when I say the art, also it's the it's the illustrations, it's the colors. Like
Right.
everything just feels like it's now. You throw a bunch of ingredients in the pot, and you have a goal of what you want it to taste like, but you gotta find the balance to make sure it's not too sweet, not too salty, not too this, not too that.
Right.
And somewhere in there, you get that beautiful meal, hopefully. And it feels like, to me anyway, it feels like you finally made that got that meal. You finally got the recipe down.
Yeah.
And now you can always tweak it. You can always continue to do things to it, but this is that next level of where things are gonna go. So
Yeah.
it's pretty dope to see,
Yeah.
especially because you could have caved a few times on this journey and said, like, that first situation won't the only situation you've had
Right.
to overcome
Right.
to get here,
Right.
and Dion is going through his own trials and tribulations trying to figure all this out.
Yeah.
How much of the story reflects real life for you?
And that goes back to, the piece that I just said, where it's like, you don't even know how personal a story can be, and I think if you had asked me that in the first issue, I would have said, yeah, it's not very personal. Like, it's, there's nothing, like, it's just a superhero story. Right.
Right.
But now, being 3 issues in, I'll never forget this. I was at a gas station. So my grandfather passed away it's probably been about 4 or 5 years ago now. And when he passed away, I got his Dodge Charger. It's like a 2008 Dodge Charger.
Yeah.
That's what I drive. And I pull up to a gas station, and there was an older gentleman, pumping his gas. And he looked over, he said, "Oh, that's a nice car." He said, "Where'd you get it?" I said, "Oh, it's, my grandfather's car." So we started, just talk. And then he asked me what I do for a living. So I said, I write a bunch of different things, but I write comic books. And so he said, "Oh, what kind of comic books?" So I told him about Scarlet Ranger. And as I was telling him about it, he says, "Oh, so it's, sort of like, you getting a car from your grandfather. He got the title from his grandfather." I said, "Damn, I didn't even catch that." Right.
Right.
And then, another, like, so my dad played professional basketball. My dad was a pastor as well. So when I was growing up, everybody just knew either I was going to play basketball or I was going to be in the church. Right. Everybody knew that, right?
Right.
And as I got older, that was something that I didn't want to do neither one of those things, right? Yeah. And so when I look at this story and I look at the relationship between Dion and his dad, Brian, I'm like, oh, this is an exact parallel of my relationship with my dad, right? Right. Because of course I want to make my dad proud, right? Of course, like, I want my dad to see me a certain way, but I'm also realizing I don't want to do the same things that he did. I don't want to do things the way that he did them necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so there is a very personal element, and I didn't even see that when I first started writing it, but just as I get deeper into the story.
Yeah.
And then one of the artists who was working on the book, she texted me one day and she said, "It's crazy." She said, "The more I work on these characters and the more I work on this book," she said, I'm really understanding you more as a person. Like, she's like, "I can see you in this storyline, in these characters."
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang, that's crazy.
Right.
So I would have said early on, it's not very personal, but it absolutely is very personal. And it's got a lot of real life connections to it.
Yeah, a lot of you supposed to pour into it subconsciously.
Yeah, for sure.
But that also makes for some of the greatest writing too. When it's coming from a pure place.
Yeah.
So when you first got started, what was your goal? Just to get a book done, or were you like, "Yo, I want to get a series done"? Like, what in your head? What was the goal?
For me, the goal was get something done, right? So I spent a lot of time, like, starting novels, stopping novels, right? Starting this idea, doing this, playing around with certain things, but never like finishing something.
Right.
And so my goal initially was just get one issue, like just get one thing done. That's it. And so yeah, that was my goal. Like have something finished that you can put in people's hands that you can say, I do this, right?
Right.
Because for a long time I would say, yeah, I want to write, I want to create, and they'd be like, okay, cool, what have you done? And it's like, well, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. But it's different when you say, yeah, I do this, and it's like, oh, well, what have you? Oh, this is what I've done.
I can show you something tangible.
Yeah. I can put something in your hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nadia, what's good?
What up, Nadia?
So yeah, I think that was my goal, and I think now, like even now, I tend to try to set my goals smallly. I think like I have ambition and I want to do certain things, but I'm always thinking like incrementally, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. I got the first issue. Okay, cool. Now I just can't wait to get this trade. Once I can get these first 4 issues collected, like that's gonna be Now I know I probably want to do a couple of arcs, but it's like, look, let's just focus on this arc. You know, so let's get this arc done and we good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that makes sense. So when for people who haven't ventured to this step, because a lot of people have ideas, but it's the difference, even in your experience, from saying, I want to do this to actually stepping forth and getting out of your own way and doing it. But like, what's that feeling when you finally accomplish that? Like, what did it feel like? Did you feel like, yo, time to celebrate? Or was it like, now that I see I can do this, let me see, where else I can go? Or like, what was it like? And even from that, like once you finished the first book, what did it feel like when you finally got one in hand?
It's crazy because along the journey, like you hear people say, like, celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
And there really is something that's super cool about this process where along the way, there really are little things that you can celebrate. Like, oh, I got some art. Oh, I got some concept art. Oh, this is dope.
Right.
Oh, I got. And so I think there was always like little milestones that I would hit where, okay, I'm starting to get art back. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this cover looks great. Okay. Then it's, oh, I got the book in my hand. Right. So I think there's always, for me, I was always celebrating those small wins. So every little win felt like a little championship. Right.
Right.
And then I think I also had the feeling of, okay, cool. And now I got one done. I know I could do another one.
Right. Right.
I can recreate this. Like, let's just keep going,
Yeah.
And so I think for me, that's the other thing too, is when you get something done, I think you build trust in yourself, right? Because when you first start and it's like, I really don't know if I could do this, but I'm gonna try it. Right. And so you do the first Kickstarter. My first Kickstarter I did, it was like 240 some backers. It was like $6,000, right? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can really do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so when that happens, then it's like, okay, I can do this again. And so you just start to trust that I can do this. You know what I'm saying? I can figure this thing out,
Right.
And so I think I just had it built trust in myself and confidence that I'm on the right track. You know what I mean? I'm on the right track.
Was there any doubts when you were like, okay, I'm about to launch this Kickstarter, or the first time you stepped into a room to sell a book or post it online and say, hey, you can buy this from my store? Like, was there any doubts for you?
Absolutely. I think I didn't have a lot of doubts, and this is interesting. I didn't have a lot of doubts on my first Kickstarter, but I had a lot of doubts on my second Kickstarter.
Was it what do they call it? Imposter syndrome, where you felt like, did I really do that, and can I do it again? Or
was that a fluke? Like, maybe I just, and the other thing too is my second Kickstarter wasn't as big as my first Kickstarter. So I hit the goal. I think the second Kickstarter we did like a little over 3,000. Mm-hmm. And I walked away from that feeling like a loser. Like, I walked away from it feeling like a failure, even though the book is being finished, and we
Right,
got
right,
money,
right.
we got extra money than we actually needed.
Right.
Things moving, but I'm thinking I ain't get the 6,000 like I did the first time. Like,
Right.
and so, but I think going into the second Kickstarter, I felt, yeah, I'm like, oh, can I do this again? Like, what if people didn't like the first one? Like, what if nobody comes back? Like, all those different thoughts just running through my mind, you know.
Right.
And then, of course, the first time first time I tabled, the first time I was at a con, is like, what if nobody buys my book? You know what I'm saying? I paid, $200-$300 for this table.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
walked into the table and look, and I pitch the book, and they say, I
Nah,
don't
I'm
know,
good.
good. I'm straight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you, in the same way that there's all the little small wins, there's also the little small doubts along the way where it's okay, cool. Now I got to learn how to do this. Can I do this? Is this going to be, do I have skills in this area? Like, what I have to learn, all those different things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Like Nadia says, stair-stepping dreams make it feel doable. True indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that quote about the how you eat an elephant one bite at a time?
That's everything, right? Hope possibly.
Right.
Pause. Possibly.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So when it's all said and done, what's the goal for Roland with Scarlet Ranger anyway? Like
with Scarlet Ranger, yeah.
Yeah, like, because I know you have other ambitions and other things that you're working on and building, but you talk to some people and they're like, yo, I'm doing this because I want to do a TV show, or I'm doing this because I want a movie, or I'm doing this because I want whatever.
Right.
Like, where would you like to see Scarlet Ranger when it's all said and done and you're like, okay, that's what it was about for me?
Yeah. Sometimes people ask me that at cons and they'll say, yeah, don't you want this to be a TV show? Don't you want this to be? And I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. Like, that would be cool to have a TV show. That would be cool to have a movie, But I think for me, I write in all different kind of mediums, right? And so I just believe in respecting the medium that you're creating in. Right. So if my dream was for it to be a TV show, that's what I would have wrote it as. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I started out as a comic book because I see it as a comic book. And I think, not to say if I get approached and people want to, make it into things, and not to say we won't do that.
Yeah.
I think my goal for Scarlet Ranger is for us to have, 25 to 30 issues, collected into like a single like volume, and it'd be like a staple in the indie comic book, community. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, this is one of those stories that if you're into indie comic books, indie Black comic books, Scarlet Ranger. You know what I'm saying? Scarlet Ranger for the quality of it, the care that was put into it.
I mean, I would one up you though. I would say,
yeah,
you're well working towards. Of course, those things come forefront to us because we're Black, we're indie, all that's important. Oh. But I've seen the reaction of some people where I think Scarlet Ranger could be one of those characters in his own way where it has that relatability of Miles or Peter Peter Parker when he was younger,
right?
To where it transcends anything else, and it's just, that touched base with people, that tapped in, and so it just becomes one of those stories. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where people are like, yo. Yeah, I like reading that, and then I put my kid onto it, or whatever it might be. You know what I mean? So, just in my perspective of being able to be at shows and see people interact, and how they take to the character, even people wanting to see Scarlet Ranger with Miles and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, to where it transcends. Of course, we have our core of what we are and what we're doing, but it starts to go beyond that, bigger than that, whether we meant for it to or not. So I think Scarlet Ranger definitely a tap into that. But not to cut you off.
No, but
I'll let you finish.
Nah. I think that's dope though, and I agree with that. And I think for me, I think about it sometimes like this is sort of how I see hip hop, where it's like I look at somebody like Jay-Z, right? And it's like, yeah, he's transcended, like just hip hop, right? But then when you say, you hear somebody like Busta Rhymes talk, and they say, "Yeah, I knew him in high school when we was battling, at the kitchen, at the the
lunchroom
cafeteria."
table,
You know what I'm saying? Or you hear the legendary battles between Jay and DMX, right?
right,
Or even if you look at Andre 3000, right, and you say, "Look, the Dungeon Family, all these different," right? It's like, yeah, like they transcend all this stuff, but at the core of it, it's like, yeah, we knew him when he was.
It comes right back to for sure.
So I want all that for Scarlet Ranger, but I think when people talk about Scarlet Ranger, I would hope that people would say, yeah, I remember when I just met this random dude at Dragon Con and I got issue 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I saw him every year at Heroes Con and this, that, and the third,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, for sure. For sure. Man, I appreciate you interviewing me too, bro. This has been good. It's been dope.
Brother, you know what I mean? Gotta make sure that the focal point is where the focal point need to be.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm gonna share the page one more time. Where we at? Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, just so people understand, the thing about Kickstarter is you can jump in early. It doesn't take any money from you when you pledge. You do have to have a card on file, but you don't have to pay any money until the campaign actually ends. It's all or nothing. Yeah. So whatever the goal is, if it doesn't hit that goal, you doing 30 days, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna do 30 days. Yep.
So in 30 days, at the end of that 30 days, that's when it'll actually process whatever tier that you decided to support. But it's super important with these Kickstarters, because most of the time the numbers that we're putting up to do is just to cover the base of a lot of things. It's not even like we're trying to get a profit. We're pushing for the profit. We're just pushing to keep things going. Right. But those early pledges help feed the algorithm and help push people towards things. It helps people's perceptions of things, which unfortunately, whether we care about that or not, a lot of that stuff is important as to how we keep things growing and keep things building.
Yeah.
But what's some of the dope stuff they can get though, bro?
Well, first, before we do that, I would love to hear. So this cover right here, can y'all see this cover? This is cover B that Wally contributed to the campaign. And I think I sent some references, and I'm like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
These are the colors I'm sort of feeling. So I'm wondering, Wally, if you could talk a little bit about your process when you was creating this cover.
Try to make sure a roll like that joint. You know what
right.
Nah, it was like you gave me the basic understanding of what you kind of wanted. And I hate expressing the feeling that's in mind, because sometimes it'll take away from what people see in something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you kind of told me you wanted him to. You wanted when people saw Dion to feel like there was I believe you said like a sense of heaviness and hopelessness, and like just kind of get a feel for the weight of what was going on or what was happening. Something to that degree, I think, is what we were talking about.
Right.
So it's like, I did a bunch of, I think I might have sent you like 4 or 5 different takes on what that him falling back to the city and everything could look like. Different. I think one of them was a totally different angle, and the rest of them were all kind of in a similar angle, but different takes on the city or how his hands were reaching out. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times you just gotta. Why is Danny in the comments and not in the conversation? But anyway, appreciate that, Nadia. We like working together too. Sometimes we have to go against them other dudes,
Right.
But just trying to fill out the emotion and the feeling and the mood, even with the colors, like trying to just set a certain mood and a certain pace, especially since it felt like a lot of covers sell books, or don't sell books. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the good thing about variants, is people got a chance to get whatever one connects with them. So it's always good to have them. But every cover has a job. Like, it's the first thing people see, and it could make or break whether or not they stop and even ask you about it. So trying to convey the feelings that you wanted in there, like even the hand being so forefront and reaching, almost like, hey, give me a hint, give me some help. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah.
And I think that was the thing that I had said too, where it's like, I wanted it to, like, when you see the cover, I wanted to feel like you want to help him, but you can't help him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He got to handle this on his own.
Yeah. And I think, man, I just think I appreciate you contributing this, Wally, and putting your skill set on it, because I think it definitely adds to the campaign, it adds to the feel. So I definitely appreciate you, bro, for sure.
I mean, speaking of feel, if you show them a couple of them pages out of this book, I think they'll really.
Yeah. So that's issue 1. That's issue 2. So this is the cover A for issue 3. And then boom, this is page 1. This artwork is done by Ricardo Ketchy.
Mm-hmm.
The pencils and the inks are Ricardo Ketchy. The
Super
colors
dope,
are by Marcos Martins.
Super dope team right here.
Yeah, they have just they've outdone themselves, man. Just the quality, the skill set, just the level. You know, like Wally mentioned earlier, like, you know, they just really bring a you know, a level to the book that I think is so like issue 2, we had an artist for the first 14 pages. She ended up having some health issues, so I needed to switch. And I found Ricardo, and he and Marcos did the last 8 pages of issue 2. And coming off of those pages, it was like, nah, like, I gotta keep working. I gotta keep working with them. Like, I got to. And so I actually talked to Ricardo probably 2 weeks ago, and he's on board to do issue 4 as well. So as soon as we, you know, get done with the campaign for issue 3, and, you know, we get all the funds from that, we're just gonna be able to move right into because the book right now is about, I would say it's about 75% done. Like, we got 6 more pages to color. And we got the letters on. So it's, you know, we're very close to, you know, having the book complete. So so yeah.
So as y'all can see, like, the art, storytelling, the visual story, like, I mean, you haven't been able to read this actual issue yet, but you can get a feel for, it's not just action and adventure. There's other moments. There's other important elements to just storytelling, and it's all here. And that all starts with the writing. You know what I'm saying? You can almost get a vibe from just seeing these scenes, like what that script was saying, the mood that was needed. You know.
Appreciate that, bro.
It's a beautiful thing when a plan come together.
Come on now, you already know what time it is. And then you asked about the rewards. What can they get? So we're gonna do, I'm trying to think how I should.
Danny said, how many issues of Scarlet Ranger will it take to complete the story you have in mind?
Right now, I got the first arc in mind. So that'll be the first 4 issues. I've started to plan out what the next arc will be. But I think my goal, when it's all said and done, I would like to have 25 to 30 issues of Scarlet Ranger. That would be, I think that would be my ultimate goal. But right now, I'm just focused on the first 4.
Right.
I started thinking about the next 4. Next 4 or 5. I feel like the next arc, I may do 5 issues, but we'll see. But I'm just really focused. Once I get that collected edition of the first arc, that's gonna be money. That's gonna be money right there. So
yes, sir.
So
for y'all not in the game, like, trades are very important to us on the indie side. Like, of course, we love making every single issue, but trades are very important because it tells a lot of story in one place at a rate that is often better for us to cover the cost and production. Is also good for the people because we can price it at a certain point.
Right.
And it just moves a lot along. It's also a way of looking back at your timeline and saying, look, this is how far I've come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a testament to that, you know?
Yeah. So when we say trades, we mean like a collected edition of something, like, you know, like this would be considered a trade, a far sector trade. And some people will say graphic novel or whatever, you know what I mean? But It's just a collected version of the story that originally came out in single issues.
Right. Yeah. What was I was about to say something. But yeah, I'm glad you clarified that. I'm over here just using the lingo.
Nah, well, Nadia asked, so
Yeah.
because we often don't even realize, like, we used to throwing certain words around, and you be like, well, wait a
minute, what you talking about?
Yeah,
cousin, thank you for coming through, cousin. I appreciate you.
So some of the rewards, you got variant covers.
Yeah, we got 4 variant covers. Well, do you count the main cover as a variant cover, or you just count?
I mean, it's technically it's the original, because everything else would be a variant of what the original would have been. So I guess technically, yeah.
We got 3 we got a main cover, we got 3 variants, so you'll be able to get 4 covers.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the first time ever, it'll be the Scarlet Ranger emblem hoodie. So this hoodie right here has the entire logo. But this hoodie, the hoodie that we have on this campaign won't have the Scarlet Ranger on it. It'll just have this emblem. Because I had an image of I forget the name of the campaign that they do on Instagram, but somebody did like fan art of Scarlet Ranger. And this joint right here.
Yeah.
He did fan art of it, and he has it on a gray hoodie. And as you can see, just the emblem. And so one of our supporters, Ben Wyland, he shout
what
out
up, Ben?
He said, hey, that would be a cool hoodie to have. And I said, let me see what I could do. So so that's going to be on the campaign. We have
bookmarks.
What else? Yeah, what else we got? We got digital. You can catch up on the digital issues. You can catch up on issues 1 and 2. So we have physical catch-up tiers. We have the Scarlet Ranger Ace Blade collaboration. I didn't even did I show that cover? I'm sure I showed it, but that's also done by Wally. But that'll be we'll do like a collector's box that'll have the Scarlet Ranger Ace Blade. Ace Blade is done by Danny J. Quick, who is in the comments, who's supposed to be on the show, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on, but
he just sold us out, but it's all good.
But yeah, we excited about that collaboration. I also have a sponsorship tier. I'm interested to see how this goes, but if you have a business or you have something that you want to promote, this will be like a tier that you can get, and I will promote your business along with when I send the books out, so we can promote you and get your business some eyes on it.
Right.
I think that's about it. This campaign, I really wanted to put a focus on like the books. I wanted to put a focus on the books and have peripheral things that sort of support that. So like mini prints and things, but I really wanted it to be about the books.
Right.
Because for me, I just love books. And so it's figuring out that balance of like get the books and then get all the peripheral stuff, but don't make your costs go too crazy.
Right.
So
people don't even know about. Well, some people don't know about how much we spend time just sitting and figuring out these numbers. Like, does that make sense? Is this going to work? Is anybody going to want to pay this? Like,
right.
And it's always you don't know until you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But that's another good point too, though. Like, because a lot of times with these campaigns, we have to try to figure out so many different elements to even reach certain goals. And a lot of times you just want to focus on the book and the story. But when you do the math, it's like, okay, well, I got to throw a bookmark or something in here to help sweeten this up a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's part of the game. But when you can put a heavy emphasis on the story and what the book is, I think that's always solid, because sometimes you'll see a campaign with somebody and see everything but the book. And you're like, well, wait a minute, where's the book at?
Right. Yeah. For sure. So you got any more questions, Wally? What you thinking? How you feeling?
I'm gonna give a shout out to Danny J. Quick, whose campaign is about to close out. Right?
True. Is it today?
I think so. Danny can tell us in the comments, but I think he closes out today, and he hit gold for sure, but he's got a little bit of time left. So, and there's a little cross promote on his end back to Scarlet Ranger and
Yep.
yada yada yada, because we be trying to keep each other going, keep each other moving. I know you have other projects that you are working on and have worked on, but would you say that out of everything, the other comic projects that you have in motion behind the scenes, is Scarlet Ranger the closest to the heart?
I think it is. It's always gonna have a special place because it's my first one. It's yeah, I mean that's it. It's my first one. It's the one that I said I have to finish this,
Right.
and this was the one that I think, like, even now, like when I go to places, like people may not even like recognize me, and I'm like, Scarlet Ranger. I show them the hat, they're like, oh yeah, Scarlet Ranger, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
So it's like at this point, I'm Scarlet Ranger right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Would you attribute Scarlet Ranger? I mean, I know you were already a competitive person, a person that pushed and pushed to see things through, but would you say that what you've experienced with Scarlet Ranger helped to increase your ability to go after other things when it came to writing and creative endeavors and yada yada yada?
Yeah, I think it just goes back to the trust piece, right? Like once I did one thing, then it's like, okay, cool. You can finish something. You can because you did it, right? And so keep going. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got an idea for a screenplay? Get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and actually, somebody commented on one of my posts yesterday, and they were just like, "Hey, I think it's dope seeing." I think they said, I can't remember the first thing they said, but they said, "Oh, consistency." They said it's dope seeing your consistency, and it's dope seeing your focus. And I think that's one of the things that, like we talked about before, like when I can put this in your hand and I can say, "This is what I've done." It's more than just, "Oh, he did a book." It's, "Oh, he finished this." You know what I'm saying? He got a team together because you know about it. Like you get your team together, you get the artists, you get all these people, you try to get everybody on the same page to get this one thing completed.
Right.
So when you put it in somebody's hand, it's a testament to all the work that goes into, you know what I'm saying, getting it done.
Yeah.
And I remember when I met Chuck Brown and Sanford Green.
Yeah. Shout out to Chuck and Sanford.
For sure. I put the book in their hands. I said, "Hey, all my heroes, I just wanted to gift this to y'all." Boom. And Chuck looked in the book and he said, "This is so professional."
Right.
And I'm like, this is what I do it for. You know what I'm saying? Like I do it for, like, yes, I love the storytelling. Like that's what I do it for. But also I want people to look at it and say, "Oh yeah, you really care about this. Like you put time into this. Like you didn't just throw this together. Like, nah, like you really, and I used to do music. I was like that with my music. Like people used to get upset with me. I would work with engineers and I would be like, they would mix stuff down and I'm like, yo, it's not really. I'm like, they're like, no, it's right. I'm like, bro, let's listen to it in the car.
Right.
We just sit in the car.
Right. Yeah. Give that quick car test. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I told you. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But it's not that. Like, I just want to get it as close to right as I can get it because I care about it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna put it in your hand, I want you to know that I care about this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think, I feel like I'm getting off track. Am I still answering the question about why Scarlet Ranger is important to me?
No, I mean I think you are. Plus, giving additional.
Oh yeah, just giving some context.
Yeah, context to the situation.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I love this shit, man. I love this shit.
So, for the people who might be tapping in, but they kind of new, like, what's the synopsis? What's the elevator pitch for Scarlet Ranger?
Yeah. So, Scarlet Ranger is a superhero story about a young man who inherits the title of Scarlet Ranger from his grandfather. The story picks up in issue 1 when his grandfather's greatest enemy breaks out of prison. And so we follow this young man as he's learning how to protect his family, protect his city, but ultimately protect the legacy that his grandfather left for him. And so, that's what it's about. It's about fathers and sons. It's about tradition. It's about legacy. And it's about learning how to honor, the men and the women that came before you, but also blazing your own trail at the same time. So that's the pitch.
Yo, have you submitted Scarlet Ranger to the Eisners?
I haven't. I have not.
Yeah, I think they're open now.
Okay.
But I think one of the rules is whatever you send had that came out last year.
Oh, okay.
That may be or maybe it's anything the year before. Check into it, because I think Scarlet Ranger would be up for, be a good book to submit for a couple of those options they got out of the list that they have.
Yeah, I'm gonna check on that for sure. Appreciate that.
Because it ain't nothing wrong being able to say Eisner Award winning or Eisner nominated. You know what I
mean? Right. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. So yeah, if you don't got no more questions, Wally, I think we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here.
Hey man, I just want to make sure I was here to help Dion make his grandfather proud. You know what I'm saying?
And I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate you coming through in the clutch. I made the little Instagram video today. I'm like, yo, I think I'm gonna be on there by myself. I may try to find some friends. And Wally hit me like, hey, you need somebody to come through? I said, hey, I would love that. Let's do it.
And you done been there for all of us every time, anytime. So we gotta be intentional. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So if you doing the work, the least I can do is jump in and help take a crate of records or whatever it might be. You know what I mean?
Right. Man, I appreciate that, man. It's all love. And with that being said, you guys definitely go check out the Kickstarter page. We're launching on Friday. Thank you, cousin. I appreciate you. I'm gonna probably call you when I get up out of here. But yeah.
What time we go live Friday though?
We going live. That's a good question, Wally. That's a good question. I'm gonna probably hit the button at 8 a.m.
Okay.
I'm gonna probably hit the button at 8 a.m.
Yeah, so y'all tap in cause we bro need them numbers to
yeah. Run up the scope.
Also, let me just say this too. It ain't just the money, like the pledges are important, but word of mouth is a beast. So passing it on to other people, you never know like what that can do. So just sharing the links whenever Ro or any of us post them, it goes a long, long way. On this indie market, we don't have big backing from this person, that company, whatever. Like we're doing all this ourselves. We grinding, we pushing, we building. But this is how you build legacy. This is how you build future. So yeah, definitely tap in when y'all see that go live. Share. For real.
For sure. Y'all heard the man. And with that, we out of here. I love y'all.